Hey, happy, beautiful, amazing day. Bob Rakowski, Blue Diamond out of Houston, Texas, with this week's conversation on success. I love this organo platform and feature. Every week, you get to learn from somebody that is building a rock solid business, sharing treasures and making the world better. This week is exceptionally special. We've got our holiday season in full gear. Organo has plenty of specials, starting with the CXT specials. And I've got to tell you, this is absolutely one of my favorites. It is so versatile. I like it hot. I like it cold. I like it with sparkling water. It is just loaded with goodness and will definitely revitalize your brain and body. And then there's that Cyber Monday deal, phenomenal bundles. You're going to want to check on that. And you're going to want to go to the OG Facebook page, the Organo Facebook page, and see what they have, because I promise you there will be specials coming up and there will be a good timing on them. Some of them you'll have to be among the first 100 to order. And if you do, it will be a phenomenal deal for you. I'm going to start with an Abe Lincoln quote. He says, "In order to win a man's heart or win a man to your cause, you must first reach his heart, the great high road to his reason." So you think about that. Are we mostly emotional or are we mostly logical? Well, I think a lot of people are going to argue that we're mostly emotional. Sometimes we have more emotion towards logic, but really emotion runs the day. So let's start with the story, and even with a specific story format, which we can all learn and share our story. So here's the story format. So what was your life like before Organo? And specifically, what didn't you like? Now, you can have a really good life. I certainly did, but there's always something that could get better. Then you talk about how you found a solution, and then you talk about your life now. So my life before, even though that's a very recent picture with my beautiful newest granddaughter, now we have 3 granddaughters. My life was actually pretty good. Clinical practice for now 30 years, at that time, a little over 20 years, treating world champion athletes from every major professional sport. And then the other end of the spectrum, people that were sent home to die. And very fortunately, many of them are alive. I use this foot because this foot was given a death sentence. It was supposed to be amputated 2 days from the time that picture was taken. But as I tell people, bodies respond to frequency, duration, intensity, quality, and timing of stimuli. And by the way, so does your business, right? How frequently you work it, how intense with quality and timing, and for how long will make a difference. And I also taught doctors all over the world, but then one day I had a curveball really thrown to me that I didn't expect. Now, it wasn't a shark in the water. As I tell people, that would have been less scary for a shorter period of time. I received an X-ray report just as I was leaving town. And there's, my X-ray report. And notice it's talked about a lesion and then a bone scan or MRI recommended twice. Now, what went off in my mind, I hadn't seen the picture, was there was something really bad in my upper arm. And when radiologists recommend a bone scan, they think there could be cancer. Now, I would have thought that would have been a very remote possibility. But a few years earlier, I had lost my best friend to cancer, and he certainly didn't expect it. He had a skin cancer that had metastasized by diagnoses. So, it pays to be cautious. So I was leaving town for a week, and I had 1 week to think about it. Okay, what if I'm not going to be here very long? My businesses depend upon me. My family's financial future depends upon me. So what will I do? And then I remembered the wisdom: your network is your net worth. And you know what? I went to work and we built a phenomenal network. But I love this question. If people understand that their network is their net worth, ask them next, are you open to this strategy working for you? I think that is a phenomenal way of breaking the ice on the power of networking and network marketing. And we definitely have a path to better. And here's one of the simple principles that has always worked. Keep it super simple. Tony Robbins likes to say that complexity is the enemy of execution. Warren Buffett said, simple has always worked for me. So what's simple about what we do? Well, we just simply share products that we love with people that we love. Now, I loved Deanna Nielsen last week. By the way, I love her every week. But someone said to her, well, I couldn't do what you do. Well, think about that. What does Deanna do? She shares products that she loves with people that she loves. Everybody can learn to do that, even though initially you may have to grow in some ways. And let's talk a little bit about Organo's competitive advantage. Jack Welch, the CEO of the entire last century, said if you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. And we have a couple patented competitive advantages. Initially, there were plenty of reasons that I would use to try to get people off of coffee in clinical practice. And there are some very valid reasons. But here's what I'll tell you. People would not quit coffee. They could quit sugar. They could quit gluten. They could quit dairy. They could quit alcohol. But they were not going to quit their coffee. And now with Ganoderma in it, we have something that overrides and turns all of the negatives into positives. So if you're going to keep it super simple, here it is. We have better coffee, and our coffee is proven better through literally thousands of published medical studies. I want to talk a little bit about Eric Worre and GoPro 2021. He is the absolute best trainer in the game of network marketing, the best skills trainer. And let's talk about his story. He says he felt like Charlie Brown, Pigpen, and Linus all blended into one chronic underachiever. He said if he was known for anything, it was underachieving. 18 different jobs by age 23, many of them just above minimum wage. He certainly hadn't found his groove. And he said, you know what? I was absolutely desperate for better. Now, I'll tell you, there are plenty of super smart people that, can make network marketing work, and they yet have not found their niche. I love the statement that an accurate question or a better question is not how smart are you? The question is, how are you smart? And if you're smart enough to recognize opportunity, if you're smart enough to recognize the power of compounding, if you're smart enough to recognize the power of leverage, or leverage may be a better term, and if you're smart enough to invest in yourself consistently to get better at some basic skills, we can all build our dream life. So Eric said he really floundered around for his first 4 years, just not much success at all. He could bring people in because he could get people to meetings, but nobody duplicated, nobody built. And he decided, okay, I'm going to study under people that are having success, and I'm going to figure this out, and I'm going to apply it. And success does leave clues. So first 4 years, really struggling. By the 5th year, started exponential growth. By his 7th year, now we're talking still in the late 1980s, early 1990s, earned nearly $1 million a year, $980,000 before his 30th birthday. And then you look at his life now, the mansion, the jet, the toys, the perks, the network, connected to people all over the world. And here's what he said, you know what? I just kept networking. I just kept my daily method of operation. I just kept getting better. And that system works. And then, of course, the love of his life, Marina. They're a phenomenal team. And what more could you ask for? Love and all the perks. That's what I'm going to call a phenomenal existence. So Virtual GoPro 2021 is December 3, 4, and 5, 9 to 6 Pacific Standard Time. So many of the best earners in the game will be on the stage, along with the best trainers on the stage. Training with actually works right here, right now. And again, I'm going to encourage you, watch very, very closely in the Organo Facebook page. Look at your emails. There is going to be a phenomenal promotion. You'll have to act fast, where you are going to want to take advantage of it. Right now, there's a general admission ticket, $297. Let's just say that Organo has found a way to make sure that people that take fast action in the ecosystem are going to get a phenomenal deal. So world-class training will absolutely be there. Here are pictures of some of the people that will be on stage. And I'm going to highlight the A-listers that are, really making a big splash all over the world in personal development, success, happiness, training. And we'll start with Eric Worre, the best skills trainer in the game. He says, the best trained team wins. And these are the 7 skills of network marketing professionals. It is a skill to find prospects. And you're going to learn from people that have found thousands of prospects by starting conversations. Remember, all business is a conversation. And then inviting. I like the idea of earning the right to invite, make a connection, share, add value, and then invite either to take a sample, invite to take a look at an opportunity. I personally love inviting with samples. Our samples are so powerful. It is easily the top tool that I'm going to say has been responsible for us signing up more than 95% of the people that we've signed up. Then presenting, that's easier now too because of so many things that are available on Zoom and recorded. Follow-up, remember, it's been said the fortune is in the follow-up. I like to say the blessings are in the follow-up. We want to transfer belief. We want people to believe in themselves, believe they can do it, and certainly believe in the model. We want to get them to start strong. There's a great strategy for that. And then the master skill is event promotion. By the way, if you go on YouTube, Eric Worre posted a training that I did on those 7 skills. So you can get a nice training on each of those in more detail, and the event will have even more detail than that. So I won't go in much more detail here, but plenty of resources are available. But I do want to focus on this skill. The best promoters get promoted. Don King earned hundreds of millions of dollars promoting boxing, more than most fighters have ever earned, and he never had to take a punch. Why? Because he was a phenomenal promoter. And here's what I can tell you. If Don can learn to do it, we can learn to do it. If Eric can learn to do it, we can learn to do it. Every skill is learnable. And this is our graph of our Organo monthly sales for almost 10 years running now. And you'll see spikes, right? This was an event spike, an event spike, an event spike, an event spike, and a promotion spike. When we promote events, when we get people to events, the events do the work. It really could call it event promotion spike, and you see it throughout. And even very, very, very recently was the most recent Organo Expo, which are always good for our team. I like the idea that these 7 skills are a recipe for success. Just like baking a cake is a recipe, and you have to bake the cake. If it just sits there cold, nothing happens. And I really think that events are the heat that bring everything together. Celebration and recognition is certainly the frosting on the cake. So you always want to celebrate your successes, your team's success. But events are the strategy that bring everything together. And here's a phrase that I learned. I wish I knew who to attribute it to, but in terms of the events, if you go alone, you're going to learn a lot. But if you bring your team, you're going to earn a lot. And that's the magic. The event will do the work. People will get inspired. Just one speaker can change everything for somebody. And Fraser Brooks, very entertaining, very knowledgeable. He tells his own life story. His first network marketing event, he attended in utero. His mom and dad were at a meeting. So it's in his blood. It's in his DNA. And here's what he's going to tell you is his strategy. You want to turn strangers into friends and turn friends into family. And we've seen that happen in our OG family, people that we didn't know very well, that we got to know better, that we added value to the world, that we offered a sample, that we offered the opportunity to grow with us. And they've done it so powerfully. And these are wonderful family members and great for our entire world. A great Fraser quote: Truth plus time equals trust. You've got to have the time investment. People either know of you, know of your track record, know that you're consistent, know that you're dedicated. And in time, you can build that. Now, if you don't have that, you might want to borrow somebody else's. You might want to go with that three-way call. You might want to use resources that we all have available to us, because guess what? That three-way call, that edification can be a fast way of building trust, because some people have the credentials in network marketing to have the trust a lot more automatic. And another one of his wonderful phrases, first he says, you want to collect friends. Remember, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So how about being a friend? Then you're going to collect decisions. Friendship first, then decisions, and then ultimately commissions. Don't shortcut that. That is the strategy that we want to go with. So he also has a bunch of steps that you can use to actually start connecting with people. And take a look at that, right? The internet is full of interesting people. Find people that have common interests. Whatever you're interested in, comment and add value. And in fact, he often says, share. Hey, Sally, I really liked your post. It was so powerful, I shared it. And then, connect with the question. Tell me more about that, or something to that effect. And then ultimately, you want to have a conversation, or maybe leave them a voice message. You want to build that trust. Notice, build the trust first, and then maybe ask a product or business question and honor the answer. That is one of the things that makes a difference between professionals and non-professionals. Professionals honor the answer wherever the person is. Lisa Nichols is who I want to talk about next. She was in the movie The Secret. She's got a phenomenal following. I looked at some of her accolades and accomplishments. She has reached over 80 million people. So that is quite a network that she's built. And I've listened to her many, many times. And here's one of the things she says: action is the antidote for despair, and it is the key to success. So, if you're not feeling the best, do something. Move your body. In fact, we get to Tony Robbins at the end, but he talks about your physiologic state. Paint a smile on your face. Run in place. Stand up strong. Shoulders down and back, chest high, with a power posture. And that's known to change your physiology, and it will change you from despair to hope. And that is certainly one of the keys. And then you're going to want to take those actions to have success. I really like what her grandmother told her. She said, your conviction and your convenience do not live on the same block. So what is convenient to do is often not what is in your best interest. So you have to find a way to make sure that actions that will move your business forward are absolutely non-negotiable. Every day, no matter what, there are certain things that you can do and should do to build your business. So this is a DMO that we created for our team. And Eric Worre says that this is universal, daily method of operation for all of the network marketing world. So you want to use your products every day. More is better. You want to sample the products every day. Again, more is better. You want to share the opportunity every day. Again, more is better. You want to promote an event to more people. More is better. And then simply you want to commit to your own development, your own betterment. Eric Worre calls it plan, do, review. At the end of the day, review it and say, how can I get better tomorrow? And get better. And by the way, if you're using our products, you're going to get better because our products make us better. If you're sampling the products every day, hey, 100 days from now, you should be better at sampling. Same with the opportunity. Same with event promotion. And I really like the title of this book because it makes sense. Change your day, not your life. Hopefully we have a lot of life ahead of all of us, but the sad reality is we don't know. So we want to make the most of every day. Stephen Covey says in life, you want to live, you want to love, you want to learn, you want to leave a legacy. Well, live the life every day. Learn to enjoy the process. Learn to enjoy getting better as you create a legacy of adding value to people all over the globe. Next, we're going to go to Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. I saw him on stage. He went from homeless to millionaire. He went from high school dropout to PhD researcher. And how did he do it? Well, he did it with, committing to his education, committing to great mentors, committing to his faith, and putting daily YouTube videos out daily. People like LeBron James said that Eric Thomas's videos were a part of his success. Cam Newton said Eric Thomas's videos were a part of his success. And don't we all love stories like that from someone who's really got their back up against the wall of an abandoned building, who finds their way to success? These are always amazing stories of hope. And Eric tells this story, which I first heard was from Socrates. So a young man approached Socrates in ancient Greece and said, I really want to be successful. Can you teach me to be successful? And Socrates says, sure, meet me by the river tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, right? So probably successful people get up early. So they got to the river and Socrates says, come on, let's go walk into the water. Let's have a conversation. And they walk out, this is a very willing student. And, he's like, okay, Socrates wants me in the water. I'll get in the water. And then Socrates grabbed him and he dunked him under the water and he held him under, and supposedly Socrates was profoundly strong, body, mind, and spirit. And he held him under and held him under and held him under and held him under. And then finally let him up, as the guy gasped for breath and said, what the heck is wrong with you? I wanted a lesson on success. I didn't want you to nearly kill me. And Socrates said this: when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. Well, I'll tell you what, if your life depended on it, if you were willing to do whatever it took, fight through whatever, that is a pretty good formula for success. In fact, it's timeless in terms of that wisdom. And, it's said that people move either for inspiration or desperation. Hey, wanting that breath is desperation, but could you be inspired? And I'll say this, I believe Eric Thomas was both desperate and inspired. He was inspired by love. He was inspired by faith. And what a path. It's a path that we can all model and take. And another pearl of his wisdom: don't stop when you're tired, stop when you are done. If you've ever gone on a run, you realize you have a second wind. That could be moving your physical body and legs over whatever distance. It could also be a 90-day run for your business or however long you plan to do it. Here's what I'll tell you. If you commit and you know what milestones you want to get to every day, at minimum, the DMO, the pros are going to tell you minimum of an hour to 2 hours every day with that daily method of operation. And those people that are full-time, guess what? That's 40 hours a week. Now, would 40 hours be worth building a team of tens of thousands that generate millions of sales and pay you handsomely? I believe it is. In fact, I'll tell you right now, for Kelly and I, it certainly has been with that. Ed Milet is the new guy on the Eric Worre stage. He's certainly not new to network marketing. He's not new to success. He earned we're not supposed to make income claims, right? But millions in network marketing with a world financial group that basically sold life insurance and financial plans. I would think that that would be a pretty tough plan, but he worked, and I put that in all caps. He worked his way to success. Here's what he's going to tell you. You need to work. By the way, Eric Thomas will tell you need to work. Eric Worre will tell you need to work. Lisa Nichols will tell you need to work. Tony Robbins will tell you need to work. Fraser Brooks will tell you need to work. Paul Caldwell will tell you need to work. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you need to work. So I love this quote from Ed. Whoever's trying to bring you down is already beneath you. Remember, our goal is to pick people up. And he saw plenty of that in his network marketing days. But let me ask you the question, who's lapping now? A global influence. He built his skills. He knows what to do to build a network, to add value. And ultimately, we reap what we sow. You add more value comes back to you. And another powerful statement, you are one decision away from a totally different life. Maybe you want to make that decision to join GoPro Virtual. If you do, I'm going to suggest you get your ticket. Get it now. You're going to want to be there. You're not going to want to miss the wisdom that will be shared will be more than worth whatever investment that you make. And Ed Milet told a story. You know, we listened to a training by, I believe it was Art Williams in this book, How to Beat Talent, Brains, and Education. And I really love what Art says. You know, he's a billionaire, became a billionaire owning a network marketing company selling life insurance. And you know what he says? If you're talented, you're used to things coming easy. If you're smart, if you're a brainiac, you tend to overthink things. And same thing if you're overeducated. Hey, it's simple. It's easy. It's simple. It's coffee. It's better coffee. People feel better drinking it. And by the way, if they share it, they can build an epic life. But Art Williams, you know, they had a life insurance salesperson that was selling far more than everybody else. And he would just knock on doors and say, you don't want life insurance, do you? And people would say, no, get out of here. Of course I don't want life insurance. Why are you bothering me? But some people would say, maybe, you know, I hadn't thought about life insurance. Tell me more. And I learned this quote from the book, The Common Denominator of Success. And here it is. Life insurance, it's easier to sell to someone who does not want it than it is to find someone who wants it. So think about that. You've got to build a bridge. You've got to create credibility. You've got to add value to people. You've got to connect, and then you've got to paint a picture of a better life to them, and you can ultimately get there. And by the way, that common denominator of success, successful people make a habit of doing things that successful people don't. And that is a phenomenal strategy for success. And then Marie Forleo, she stole the stage last year. Absolutely brilliant, dynamic. Her book, Everything is Figure-Outable. And she said she learned that from her mother. Her mother just said, look, you know, we can figure this out. Everything is figure-outable. And then, by the way, if you have a network, just imagine how many people you can reach out to tap into the wisdom of all the people that you're connected to. And then this, I love this quote. The measure of a great life is whether it matches your dream. Think about that. We all have dreams. Dream big. You know, there's no extra cost to dreaming big, as it's been said, but there's a huge cost to dreaming small. Dream big. It's all available to all of us. And I'll transition to quote here to Bob Proctor, even though we're still on Maria Forleo. Here's what he says. When you're dealing with infinite, you can never take more than your share. So we are in an infinite universe. You know, we're connected to an infinite source. Why not realize that, hey, if it's infinite, I can't get more than my share. So let's go get it. And let's get it by adding value. The more people we add value to, the more value comes back to us. And one of her big tips is how to turn your fear into fuel. And, you know, I downloaded this picture, and John Assaraf, who, by the way, was in The Secret, said this, but many people have. So I don't know who to give it to originally, but his was on that picture. And I like that picture. How do you turn your fear into fuel? And I love Tom Morris. I affectionately call him PhD. He got a double PhD in philosophy and religion from Yale. He said, look, I wanted to know what man was thinking. I wanted to know what God was thinking. And he is a phenomenal philosopher. But here's what he said. You know, years ago, when I felt my heart rate go up, I used to think, uh-oh, I'm getting nervous. Then one day it occurred to me to say to myself, good, I'm getting ready. So I want you to think about that. You know, your heart rate will go up when you are excited. And what's not to be excited about? You know, we have something that the world desperately needs. You know, one of my favorite closings to team members and others is, look, our world needs all the health that it can get. So we have that. We have health in terms of products, in terms of wealth, in terms of community, in terms of personal development, in terms of a better future. And when we come into turning fear into fuel, how about turning pain into something valuable? And this was a phenomenal book called The Tools. And the very first tool was to change your relationship with pain. So Phil Stutz tells the story, he grew up in New Jersey. And the first swimming day of the year on the Jersey shore, the water was very, very cold. And his dad would tell him, all right, Phil, you and I are going to start right here, somewhere, 50 yards up the beach. We're going to race to the first buoy, which who knows, maybe it was 25 yards out into the water. And he'd say, on your mark, get set, go, and sprint and dive into the water and swim as hard as you can to that buoy. And here's what Phil told you. When he hit that water, he felt like he was being stabbed by 1,000 ice picks. But by the time he got to the buoy, he was actually pretty refreshed and pretty happy that he did it. And he said there were plenty of people that would stick their toe in the water and they would never, ever, ever go in. It was just too much. So you know what? If you got to deal with a little pain, just get it over with. And that will change that relationship with pain, because on the other side of pain is advancement, is freedom. And then we got Grant Cardone, Mr. Massive Action. And I really like what he said, massive actions with an S and a big capital S. He says, look, I'm not a think and grow rich guy. I'm a do and grow rich. But here's what I'll also tell you. The thought precedes the action, quite simply. So you do need to make up your mind, and the mental game is powerful, but he's right. You do need to take actions. So here's what he said. He was broke at 25. He was a recovering drug addict. He said he was absolutely unemployable and he was in debt. And here's what he said. It is because what I have done, not because what I have thought, that I am a billionaire, a very different person today. So he's got all of these phenomenal books, and it took massive actions to write all of them. And in one of his more recent books, I think it was the 10X rule, Eric Worre asked him, he says, how many times in that book did you use the term massive action? And Grant said, I don't think I did even once. I think it was always massive actions. And he was very clear to say it takes massive actions. One massive action won't get it done, but a series of massive actions will get it done. Here's what he also said. He likes a clear target. He likes a public declaration. He likes both a reward and he likes a penalty. So he was in the reality show Undercover Billionaire. They took away his money. They took away his identity. They took away all his contacts. They dropped him off in a town where he'd never been before. And they said, you have 90 days to build $1 million business. And when Grant flew to meet with the producers, he took a suitcase of $1 million and he dumped it on the table. He said, look, I'm not going to earn $1 million in 90 days. I'm going to earn 10 million. And if I don't, you get the cash. You got to watch the episode, because what you're going to find is massive actions. And a guy that when he was under a time crunch, he wasn't going to waste his time with people that weren't going to get him where he wanted to be. He has that sense. Here's someone that can play, they can pay, they can add value, we can synergize, let's go. And that's what we want in our business. Now, keep in mind, we can work people from the Eric Thomas level, from homeless to millionaire, but it's a lot easier to start with people that have at least several feet moving in the right direction. And Grant Cardone said something similar to this, but I'm going to go with Lao Tzu because he's the originator. Care about what other people think, and you'll always be their partner. So you want to free yourself from that prison of caring what other people think. And Grant was on a podcast with Eric Worre, and Eric asked him, how do you find the right people? And this was the best answer that I think I've ever heard. you don't find the right people, you find a lot of people. And then ultimately, the right people will emerge from the bunch. And, here's what he said. Grant Cardone, he says, if I were 20 again, I would do network marketing for these reasons: to get around people who are taking action. So think about that. How many people are taking action? He says only about 2% of people. I hope it's higher than that, but maybe it's not. Get around people who are taking action. Remember your Fab Five. You want to do it for the network. Ultimately, a dentist, a chiropractor, a plumber, a car salesman. Says you ought to be able to find all these people in your network. And you know what? We have them. We have them on our team. You want to be around people who want to do something big, people who are actually dreaming. So that will raise the bar of your consciousness. He says network marketing has superior products, or it wouldn't last, quite simply enough. Everything in network marketing is earned along the way. If they don't have a great product and people succeeding sharing it with word of mouth advertising, the company goes nowhere. Then there's the phenomenal income opportunity. And how about tax advantages? We probably don't talk about that enough, but it's estimated the average homeowner with a network marketing business earns somewhere between, has over $4,000 or $5,000 benefit in terms of tax advantages every single year. And Tony Robbins, I got to tell you, I love Tony Robbins. I have studied his material for 3+ decades. And Superman Cubed, we could call him that. Superfood Cube, that's what Ganoderma is, good for the body, mind, and spirit. But he talks about the 3 S's: state, story, and strategy. So if you think about it, maybe you want to score yourself. What's your physiologic state? How energetic are you? How enthusiastic are you? How powerful are you? All of these things come to play. Enthusiasm, there's so many different quotes about that, but it literally means the God within. And here's what Vince Lombardi told his players: if you're not fired with enthusiasm, you'll be fired with enthusiasm. So, only the enthusiastic need to stay on a championship team. But what's your physiologic state? What's your story? That story can evolve. And then finally, what's your strategy? And by the way, the DMO, we gave it to you. If you do that every single day in a great physiologic state with a story that you're going to make the world better, you can score yourself anywhere from 0 to 1,000. But if any of those are a 0, it becomes a 0. So you want to be energized, you want to be empowered, you want to be enthusiastic. Amy Cuddy has a TED Talk about power postures. And here's what they know. When you assume a power posture, it is phenomenal for your physiology. It puts you in a healthier state, a more optimistic state, a more influential state. Some people use music, some people use movement. Why not use whatever works for you consistently and get into that phenomenal state? This was Eric Worre's story. I'm going to the top. You know what? You're either going to see me at the top or you'll find me dead on the side because I ain't coming back. That was a phenomenal speech that he gave when he was just 29 years old. And I think it's safe to say he's done that. He went to the top of that company. He went to the top of all the trainers in the network marketing world. But keep in mind, now he's looking for a new top, a new peak. And that's why he's such a wonderful individual to connect to. And then how about the strategy? We already gave you the DMO. You don't have to invent the wheel. You don't need to create marketing pieces. You don't need to create whatever. It's there. We've got samples. There's social media that's out there. You've got friends, you got a phone, you got contacts. Reach out, state, story, strategy, get into that optimal state, tell yourself an empowering story, and then do the DMO. And then when we start talking about events, go alone and learn a lot, bring your team and earn a lot. So the last Organo event, epic. The next Organo event, I think we're looking at April for that. It will absolutely be epic every time they get better. But how about this next week? December 3, 4, and 5 is Virtual Go Pro. And our mentors taught us the best promoters get promoted build from event to event to event to event. We've got basically 10 years of growth. We had a few dips, and every business does, but the trend is absolutely upward. And what do we do when we dip? We double down. We get better, stronger, faster, smarter. We reach up to mentors. I've got to tell you, when we were having our most challenging dip, I was talking to Paul Caldwell very consistently. And then you can see the results. Get locked into his chairman's call every week. You're going to see we have a leader that the entire industry wants. We are going places, and the world knows about our leadership. Eric Worre knows about our leadership. In fact, that's one of the early conversations. He said, Dr. Bob, Paul is the guy that's going to take Organo to great heights. And he was right. Virtual GoPro 2021, December 3, 4, and 5, all-star lineup. Get your tickets. Join us. Just if you go ahead and type in your search engine, Virtual GoPro 2021, it'll take you to the link. You can register. Be on the lookout for those tickets. And by the way, if you happen to be on my team or Diane Solano's team, reach to her, reach to me. We still have some, and we will make it a phenomenal deal for you. Well, Organo always goes the extra mile. From Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's will be absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to encourage you to really learn how powerful this CXT is. It's the latest and greatest. It might be their best all-time product. Enjoy it hot, enjoy it cold, with sparkling water, with flat water. No matter how you enjoy it, it is absolutely phenomenal. And as always, I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful.